they walk in and they're like, yes, that's the world that we live in. And so we created, we brought in Kai, who was amazing, working with Jamal and our Colombian Cultural Trust, and then internally within Disney Animation, we kind of brought together a group we call Familia, and it's all the Latinx community within the studio, and we met with them on an ongoing basis just to talk about story and experience, and not specifically story at times, we just talk about experience of what it is growing up, like Latino, and growing up, with your family and all of the complications and joys
that come with family. Well, listen, we can't talk about Bruno without talking about Lin-Manuel Miranda. Now, okay, I got you all ready, but here's the deal. Lin-Manuel couldn't be here. Wait, don't go, because you're gonna regret that all. He couldn't be here in person, but through the magic of technology, specifically technology powered by AT&T 5G, maybe he can be here with us today after all. Let's see.
You're rolling.
23. Please. Hello, you hear us? So this is real. This is not Memorex. I'm old enough to remember that commercial. Everybody over 50 laugh. All right, please welcome our award-winning songwriter, actor, director, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Lin wrote and produced 8 original songs for Encanto, and of course, he also going from the smash hit Hamilton, which won the Pulitzer Prize and 11 Tony Awards, as well as the Tony Award winning In the Heights. He's also contributed music, lyrics, and vocals to Disney Animation's Moana. Hello, Lin-Manuel.
Hi, everybody. This is my first D23. Be nice to me.
This is first.
I'm trapped in Bruno's tower. And if you remember, they never really explained how Mirabel got down from there after getting.
Don't give the
It's sort of a
secrets.
smash cut.
We got you in a box, okay? You can't tell secrets. Tell us, how did you first become involved with this project?
Well, honestly, it starts with Moana and working with Jared and working. I had an incredible experience on that. It was my first time working with Disney in that way, and I heard rumblings that there was going to be a Latin-themed Disney animation piece, and so I just said to anyone who will listen, like, I've been preparing all my life. Please put me in that room, since I was, pretending to be Sebastian the Crab on my desk in 4th grade. And so I got to be in on the ground floor of this, and so it was a joy to help create the madrigals with the creative team and figure out how they sang and figure out and I want to apologize to all of Jamal's dancers for having to listen to my voice in 8 parts, and all of you tonight for hearing it.
Listen, this is incredible technology, isn't it? I mean, you look more real than we are. This is crazy. Sharon, you've worked in unique ways on this project, Zoom, and now this, 5G, AT&T. What has it been like for you, or what was it like reuniting with... Stop hitting us, okay? You're poking us. What was it like, Jared, reuniting with Lin on this?
Oh man, well, I mean, I remember as Juan was wrapping up, I remember hearing Lin had done this thing on Broadway that no one saw, and I felt bad for him, And I was like, this guy needs a hand. And so I was like, come do this thing. And he's like, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. That's all I remember. Is that about right, Lin?
Is that your impression of me? Thank you so much.
No, I mean, it's honestly a dream come true. Like, collaborating with Lin is the best thing in the world because he works really hard and he always tries to top himself and to surprise us. And it's one of the best part is the most difficult parts of the story. We just go like, here you go. And he does it, and we get to go to sleep, and he stays up all night. So it's pretty great.
Yvette, what was it like for you reuniting?
Yeah, no, it was great. I'm on, again, on Moana, he was very, very busy with Hamilton. And so we'd always get him backstage. We have Lin today, backstage. But of course, we made this during the pandemic, and so what was great is that we got to meet with him on a regular basis. And again, to add to what Jared says, it's amazing for me to sit there and watch, truly a genius at work. Because
Wow.
he really is like, oh, what about this? And so it was such a gift.
Clark, this was done largely remotely. I mean, this was during the pandemic, and all of the other stresses in life, and now you're trying to create something that will bring joy to all of our hearts remotely, and we're still remote. But back then, what was the process like?
It was hard. Actually, it was very difficult. The entire development of this project happened while we were working together and collaborating in a building in Burbank, but the actual production all happened during the pandemic. So we were spread across hundreds of homes, and getting together on Zoom is an incredible way to actually be able to still make a movie, but it's not the best way to make a movie. Collaboration is so critical in the art form of animation, and in particular on the music side of it. But I will say, for as hard as it was, and Yvette was alluding to it, every Friday night at 6 p.m. in LA and 9 p.m. in New York, we would meet with Lin. Lin would have had dinner with his family, and we would go in and we would talk story, and we would talk music, and sometimes on that end of the day Friday, right before 6 p.m., he would send us a nugget of a song or a lyric that he was thinking about, and it just brought you the joy. It brought you the joy to get through those weeks of having to be separated, because it was just so phenomenal to see it all come together and just to hear the beginning pieces of it.
And especially because each of you brought pure love and joy at that difficult time, that makes this complex creative process a little easier. Jamal, what was it like for you? What was the joy is obvious there, but what did you enjoy most about creating choreography with this music?
I loved, because we got Bruno first, so that was the first song we did, and then I was like, well, usually it's like one hit song, and I'm like, okay, well then all the rest are probably not going to be as good, right? Every song, every time I'm like, it was like building an album. I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear this next song that's going to come out, It was amazing, and that's like you said, like that's Lin's genius. Like it was such an honor to be able to do that, put movement to his music.
Oh, and Lin, before you go, of course, I want to ask you about the amazing Encanto composer, Jermaine Franco. How did you find such a beautiful synergy between the songs and the score?
Oh, well, I was so lucky to find her. I was a fan of her work at Disney before, on Coco, and the first time we spoke, it was just very organic. She just wanted to go all the way in. She was like, I'm building my own marimba, we're doing all the things. She just was so passionate about the authenticity of the music and the score. And I just, it's interesting, you meant, just to piggyback on what you said about making this during the pandemic, it's not lost on me that the two biggest sort of chart hits were Surface Pressure and We Don't Talk About Bruno. I wrote those in April and May of 2020, like at the height of this thing. I was living with my in-laws, and Surface Pressure is about, how do I keep my family safe?
Yeah.
At the bottom of the day. And We Don't Talk About Bruno is, what are we allowed to talk about in front of your mother? Which I was very much living at the time while we were all locked up together during the pandemic. So I think some of that secret sauce is why that resonated with people. I think we all went through versions of those two questions, like how do we live with each other when we're all under one roof, and how do we stay safe?
Wow, that is so beautiful. Before we let you go, you always have such great wisdom and beautiful things to say. This is your first D23, my first guest ever.
It's a weird one.
I know, right? My first guest with AT&T 5G HoloVision technology. What parting words before you vanish into little pixels that you would like for the audience to know?
I guess I would say, and I'm so thrilled to even just virtually get to be with you all tonight, and all of you. I want to thank you all for embracing and embracing this music. And you know, we set out to do a very tricky thing, which is to get a family in all its complexity on that screen. And the challenge is, when you're making something, invariably become the virtues. Each of you has a favorite character. Each of you, Camilo is my person, or Dolores is my person. And that thing that made it so difficult is what makes it special. And that's also weirdly the theme of the film. The thing that's trickiest to go through is you know, what becomes your blessing later. So I'm really thrilled to be here. I don't know what happens to me when I disappear.
Well, you never disappear, because you're always with us in our hearts, because you've given us the soundtrack of our lives. So thank you so much. We love you, Lin-Manuel. Thank you. What incredible technology. Hi. Wow. Look at that. Okay, that was a first for me. I could never go back to Zoom.